And now back to Foothill Critters on TFPN.
Welcome back to Foothill Critters. This is Susan Manning with the Feed Barn and Margie Blair with Twin Cedar Canine. Thanks for joining me again, Margie.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about feral cats. Feral cats are a passion of mine. I have 5 feral cats, and you have...
I have 5.
Oh, good number.
Well, 4 was from the same litter.
Okay.
And then there's one that just kind of joined up, and that was before. He's actually quite a bit older than the 4 that... I think he's like 14 or 15 years old now.
Wow. Mine, a lot of them are couch potatoes. I find that for some reason the ferals seem to be even friendlier than the ones who are domestic cats, because I think somewhere they realize that they have a really cushy life compared to what they were living in the past.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's real important with APAL's program is the trap, neuter, and release. And we've got a trap here. Can we kind of do a little demo and show how this trap operates?
Yeah. These are, I mean, it's a great way to very humanely catch the kitties. The back end of the trap, you've got a little tray back here, and you can either put the food inside the trap on that, or you can put the trap over the food, and that'll work
that
as
way
well.
the can can't get stuck.
The can can't get stuck. Okay.
Yeah, if you're using canned food or tuna.
And this is attached. All you have to do is just kind of lift this up. And you've got a little bar here, and I don't know, you can't see it on TV. All the big metal on this is all green. You want to take this green lever and very lightly, just barely catch the cage.
And you can see the pan is tilting while you're doing that.
This is tilted up over here.
Yep.
So then when Kitty comes in and goes to grab the food, which I don't have anything to actually touch that with, it's going to drop that down. And now the cat, it can't lift it back up. They can't push out. And it's going to freak them out a little bit when it first happens. But you know what? They're going to figure out, well, now that I'm in here, there's this nice pan of food. I think I'm going to go ahead and eat the food.
Right. Well, one of the things I always do is I cover the trap with a
So
tarp.
it makes it look like a cave.
Well, and because sometimes you can catch those black and white striped kitties.
Oh, yeah.
And they smell pretty
They smell
bad.
really bad, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was
good
peeking,
thought there. Peek to see who we
see
have.
what kind of kitty I
Yeah.
have before I go to taking the trap out.
Yeah.
And the good thing about all good traps is that they have a plate over the handle. It doesn't happen often. Most of the time the cats are scared and they retreat, but there are times when the cat will actually go after you because they're scared and they think that,
Well,
you know.
And with mine, I had made sure I had very thick 2 layers of shirts on, and I wore leather gloves when
Right.
I was
Yep.
handling them.
You want to be really careful.
Yeah.
The great thing about Amador County and APAL is, and our terrific local vets, is that we have a free spay-neuter program. So if someone takes their feral cat in a trap to one of our local veterinarians, they will spay and neuter that cat for free. You want to do it during the week. Not on weekends because they don't do the spay neuter.
Don't set your trap on Friday night because then the poor kitty's going to be sitting in that trap for a long time.
And you don't want to do that because they will hurt themselves. But so, what time of day would generally someone set the trap for a feral cat?
Well, I see my cats most active in the evenings.
Yeah.
They kind of like sleeping. I go down to the barn during the day. They're all snuggled up in the hay in different locations sleeping. So I would, when I did mine, I set it in the evening, and by morning I caught 2 one time.
Right.
Because it's a litter of 4 kittens.
Sure.
And then it was one night for the other ones. So, and the first kitty, the one that's now 14, I kind of befriended him, and I was able to just kind of catch him and put him in a regular carrier and take him down.
Right.
But
some people want to take the cats in a carrier, but it's not safe for the person who's taking them in the carrier, and it's really not safe for our local veterinarians. So they insist that we use a cage. The cages can be rented at the feed barn for $3 a day, and they are very effective, and they can put the kitty under without actually touching the kitty.
Right.
because these cats, if they're several generations feral, you just may not be able to safely handle them. I certainly wouldn't want to.
I know how my domestic kitty turns when she knows it's time to go to the vet. You'd
Yeah.
think she was feral. So
Yeah. This is definitely a safety thing for the veterinarians. I, at the old store, at the feed barn, had spayed and neutered at least 10 cats a year. They seem to arrive on my doorstep because at a feed store, of course, you have a lot of feed. I know a lot of people with barns and ranches and vineyards. There's a lot of mice. There's a lot of rodents. And I always considered them to be some of my hardest workers. Is that why you have so many on your place?
Absolutely. Well, it helped that there was just a litter that was there.
Right.
That were down in the culvert at the edge of my property that I gradually encouraged them to take up residency in the barn. But I feed a grain hay, I feed alfalfa, and then I also feed a grain hay. And I'll tell you what, the rats, if you can't store grain hay in your barn, you're going to have a rat issue.
Yeah.
And when I'd open up the barn and there'd be rats running everywhere in the rafters until I caught the kitties and had them spayed and neutered. And then I, on my own, went ahead and gave them their first set of vaccines just because. I want them to stay healthy.
Sure.
So I paid for it out of my pocket to have them vaccinated as well for that first round. They haven't been vaccinated since,
Right.
but I'm sure they have some protection left. But I do not have, you can open up that barn, I don't care what time of day or night, I don't see them. I know they're in there, but they're
Right.
not in the quantities that we had before we had the feral kitties.
Absolutely. We have Fred in our barn at the current feed barn, and we don't have a mice or rat problem. And he's become tame enough. He loves to be petted.
Yeah, just don't like to be picked up.
No, doesn't like to be picked up, and really doesn't like to go to the vet, but he will allow us to do that.
Yeah.
So we've been able to get him follow-up care. And, he's a hard worker.
They
and
are.
we like having him there, It's fun for us. It's fun for the employees. And I think it's important that people know that APAL pays for these cats to be spayed and neutered for free, and then you can release them back on your property. The other sad thing is that if you take adult feral cats to our animal shelter, they're euthanized.
They're euthanized.
They have nothing other than to euthanize them. So it's not that they don't love cats, but
there's no home out there for them.
Yeah, there's no home out there for them. And so we hope that people will take those cats back after they've been spayed and neutered and at least give them a chance at survival. Sometimes people have cats that are fighting with their cats. I know I have had cats that have fought with my cats that have just arrived, or they're spraying. And I think it's important that people know that this behavior, once the cat's spayed or neutered, it goes away.
It goes away.
Yeah, yeah. The cat that just kind of showed up from nowhere that was fighting with all of my cats, once I got him neutered,
it took a few weeks probably.
Yeah,
but
it did for the hormones to die down, but he became a really nice cat. Yeah. So
they're incredibly beneficial. I wish they would come closer into my training facility because I have a gopher problem out there. I mean, it looks like Margie's Gopher Farm.
Sure.
But all the dogs are over there, so the cats don't venture that far. So, but you know what? There's no gophers or ground squirrels back by the barn.
Right, right. They really do a great job.
They do an awesome job.
They're very beneficial. So if people want a barn cat, they can contact our shelter. They're less expensive than a kitty adoption, and they've been spayed or neutered. They've had their first shot, dewormed, and if they're over 4 months old, which they usually are if they're adopted as a barn cat, they've had their rabies shot as well. So if you have a rodent problem,
and you don't have a feral cat colony hanging out, go get a barn cat.
Exactly. Go get a barn cat or several barn cats.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick the cat, but in this instance, if it's going to be in the barn, if it's going to be a mouser, or if it's going to be getting gophers, then you don't really care. The feral cat program is totally funded by APAL, and it's free.
I mean, what better deal can you get?
Yeah, you really can't get a better deal. So all you have to do is trap the cat. The vet spays or neuter for free. Why do they notch the ear?
so that way we don't get repeat customers. The ears notched, so that way, I mean, with the boy cats, it's easy enough to tell that they've been neutered because their pockets are empty. But with the girls, they got their pockets picked.
Yeah.
With the girls, it's really, they're not going to be able to tell if they've been spayed or not. So it's just a really quick idea. If you've set your trap and you look in it and you see a kitty with a notched ear, open it up, let it go. That one's already taken care of.
Right. Yeah.
And for the vets as well.
Yes, absolutely, because we don't want to have the cat put under for no reason.
No.
That notched ear tells immediately what the situation is. So if somebody is interested in donating to APAL, APAL's address is P.O. Box 190, Jackson, California. The phone number, if you want assistance or if you have questions about the feral trapping program, is 223-0410. And we really thank our local veterinarians who help us with the spay neuters for the feral cats and getting these kitties back out.
Do we have numbers as far as how many kitties in the feral program have been taken care of? Or?
I
Not
don't
like putting you on the spot or anything.
Yeah,
I know it's a lot.
I know it's a lot. I believe it's over 1,200 a year that are spayed or neutered.
So that's a lot of kittens that are not happening.
That's a lot of kittens that are not happening, and it can be a miserable life if the colonies aren't managed, and there isn't a trapping spay neuter program because those females come into season at least twice a year and keep pumping out kittens. And
there's no life for the kittens. There's no life for the adults.
No. And so we really encourage people to spay and neuter those feral kittens and cats and get it for free and manage those kitties so that there's not more and more and suffering from pet overpopulation. That's Foothill Critters, and we thank you for joining us, APAL Humane Society and Foothill Critters. Thanks.
Foothill Critters is show for and about local pets, farm animals, and wildlife of our foothill communities have been proudly brought to you in part by the...
Hey, Critter, let me do that part.
Oh yeah, okay, it's your part anyway.
By the Feed Barn Country Store, locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. By Jeff Holman Auto Center, a name you can trust for 28 years and growing. And by Sierra Hearth and Home, your certified specialists for water gardens, ponds, and waterfalls.
On propane.